Welcome to the School of the Lost Tribes. Your charity helps generate the lessons needed to seal the chosen before the destruction. How did the people of Israel become lost? Jeremiah 56-. My people hath been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. This verse begins by identifying my people, a clear reference to the Israelites, as lost sheep, aligning perfectly with the language later used by Christ in the Gospels, especially when, referring to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, Matthew 15:24. The text blames the shepherds, the spiritual and political leaders of Israel, for leading the people astray. The imagery of moving from mountain to hill suggests restless wandering and continual idolatry as high. Places were often sites of pagan worship. Most importantly, they forgot their resting place, which is symbolic of forgetting the covenant, the laws, and the sanctuary. Ultimately, forgetting Yahweh, their true place of rest and identity. Jeremiah 57-. All that found them have devoured them, and their adversaries said, We offend not, because they have sinned against the Lord, the habitation of justice, even the Lord, the hope of their fathers. Here we see the consequence of the sheep being lost. The nations among whom the Israelites were scattered, Assyria, Babylon, and later Rome, devoured them. These adversaries justify their oppression by saying, We offend not, because Israel had already broken covenant with the Lord. This affirms that their punishment was a divine judgment. Notice how the Lord is called the habitation of justice and the hope of their fathers, further affirming that this passage speaks only of Israelites, the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who were judged and scattered, fulfilling prophecies of both punishment and eventual restoration. Summary. According to the exclusive doctrine, this passage confirms that the scattering and affliction of Israel was not random or universal, but specific to the covenant people. They became lost because their leaders abandoned the true path. Their affliction by foreign nations is portrayed as both judgment and setup for redemption, the consistent theme of the gospel aimed at regathering the lost Israelites scattered among the nations. Here's a breakdown of Isaiah 9:13-17, according to the exclusive doctrine of the Israelites, using the BVB style of interpretation. Topic: the judgment upon corrupt leadership and people of Israel for refusing to return to the Lord. Isaiah 9:13-. Lord of hosts. For the people turneth not unto him that smiteth them, neither do they seek the. Despite chastisement from Yahweh, the people of Israel refuse to repent or return to him. The context identifies these people as the covenant nation, Israel, who are chastised as sons. See Amos 3:2. Yet they remain stiff-necked, showing that their judgment is justified. The verse condemns their failure to recognize the purpose of their suffering, correction to bring them back to Yahweh. Isaiah 9:14-day. Therefore the Lord will cut off from Israel head and tail, branch and rush in one. The terms head and tail, branch and rush symbolize the entirety of Israelite society, from the highest leaders to the lowest commoners. The judgment is swift, in one day, and all-encompassing. It is not directed at other nations, but specifically toward Israel for their covenant breach. This is divine purging of leadership and population as part of national judgment. Isaiah 9:15-. He is the tail. The ancient and honorable, he is the head, and the prophet that teacheth lies. The verse now defines the head as the elders and leaders, and the tail as false prophets. These two groups represent the spiritual and civil leadership that has corrupted Israel. Their status among the people has made them influential in leading Israel into apostasy, highlighting why Yahweh must remove them. Isaiah 9:16-. Are destroyed. For the leaders of this people cause them to err, and they that are led of them. This is a central indictment. Israel's leaders have caused the people to stray from the path. Not only do the leaders bear guilt, but the people who follow them into error share in the destruction. This confirms the national consequence of covenant rebellion. It affects all levels of society. Again, this judgment is specific to Israel. Isaiah 9:17-. Therefore the Lord shall have no joy in their young men, neither shall have mercy on their fatherless and widows. For everyone is an hypocrite and an evildoer, and every mouth speaketh folly. For all this his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. This verse intensifies the judgment. The Lord's wrath includes even the vulnerable, young men, widows, and orphans, because the corruption is so deep-rooted. The charge of hypocrisy and evil-doing shows Israel's covenant failure. Despite ongoing punishment, Yahweh's hand is stretched out still, meaning judgment is not yet complete. This judgment is against his people, not outsiders. Summary: these verses confirm that Israel, specifically the northern kingdom, is under severe judgment for rejecting Yahweh and following corrupt leaders. According to the exclusive doctrine, this is not a universal message to all mankind, but a detailed account of Israel's fall due to covenant violation. Yet the severity of judgment hints at a greater redemptive plan, discipline that prepares for eventual restoration, the destruction of Israel for rejecting knowledge and forgetting the law. Hosea 4:6-. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God. I will also forget thy children. This verse speaks directly to the children of Israel, my people, not to all mankind. The declaration of destruction is because they lack the knowledge that came through the covenant, the law, the ordinances, and the instructions given at Sinai. The knowledge they rejected is not worldly intellect, but the divine instructions, Torah, entrusted to them. The phrase, "Thou shalt be no priest to me," refers to Israel's national role as a kingdom of priests, Exodus 19:6. By forgetting the law, they forfeited that calling. This is a rebuke to both the priesthood and the broader nation, since the nation as a whole had priestly responsibility before the nations. The final statement, "I will also forget thy children," reveals the generational consequence of Israel's rebellion. Their offspring would grow up estranged from the covenant, scattered and forgotten among the nations. This foretells the Assyrian captivity of the northern kingdom, leading to their identity being lost, a foundational concept in the exclusive doctrine concerning the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Summary: Hosea 4:6 is a solemn warning directed only at Israel. It proclaims the destruction and rejection of a covenant people due to their abandonment of Yahweh's law. This isn't a message for all nations, but specifically for the nation that had been given divine knowledge and responsibility. Their dispersion and loss of identity set the stage for the gospel message later aimed at restoring these lost children, judgment against Judah and Jerusalem for open rebellion against Yahweh. Isaiah 3:8-. For Jerusalem is ruined, and Judah is fallen, because their tongue and their doings are against the Lord, to provoke the eyes of his glory. This verse identifies Jerusalem, the capital of Judah, and Judah, the southern kingdom, as the direct recipients of judgment. The phrase "is ruined" and "is fallen" describes not just a physical collapse, but a moral and spiritual disintegration. This isn't a universal condition of humanity. It is the specific consequence for a covenant-breaking people. The cause is made plain. Their tongue and their doings are against the Lord. This means both speech and behavior, publicly and deliberately, have become defiant. They no longer even pretend to honor the laws and ways of their God. To provoke the eyes of his glory emphasizes the intensity of their rebellion. In Hebraic imagery, Yahweh, seeing their sins, is not passive. It stirs his judgment. These are not hidden sins. Judah's corruption is open, brazen, and dishonoring to his name, which had been placed upon them. Summary: Isaiah 3:8 continues the consistent theme of the prophets. Exclusive judgment upon Israelite. Tribes, here Judah and Jerusalem, for breaking the covenant, according to the exclusive. Doctrine: this verse does not address mankind as a whole, but the people chosen to bear Yahweh's name and represent his righteousness in the earth. Their fall is tied directly to their rejection of that role, provoking divine discipline that would ultimately lead to exile, yet preserve a remnant for restoration.